Jai Shri Ram. Sri Dattatreya's 24 Gurus. Lord Krishna quotes in the Uddhava Gita, Sri Dattatreya. You must understand, Dattatreya is none other than Krishna himself. And to instruct Uddhava, Krishna introduced Dattatreya. And Dattatreya should be treated as a guru of ecological education, environmental education. Dattatreya gained enlightenment by observing the world, which provided him with 24 gurus. Now the message here is, the world is full of gurus. Everyone you meet can teach you something, and in that he is your guru. That is the right attitude. That is the attitude of Sanatana Dharma. That's what Krishna is trying to teach us. Okay. So, and one more corollary is, don't waste your time running after a guru. It is also said that once the student is ready, the guru appears. So the student does not have to bother about searching out his guru, but the guru will search out the student. That's what the Vedas declare. All the more reason for you not to waste your time. So therefore, don't waste your time running after gurus. And there are many gurus, good gurus, who can teach you a few things. But the ultimate Jagat Guru is Krishna. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is our guru. Okay, Dattatreya is none other than Krishna, and he is teaching us how we can actually learn from every animal, every creature, every tree, every person, every individual, every human, even a baby you can learn. In fact, every child can teach us anything, something or the other. Okay. So 24 is merely a number. The number of gurus that we can actually have is infinite. If we are willing to observe keenly. Today, seriously, there is a huge shortcoming, or sort of, what would you call it, a huge gap in environmental awareness. One of the Tantra Shastras says you should never pluck off even a blade of grass unless you have some need, some purpose to fulfill. Animittam trunam vapi chhedayen na kadachana. Animittam trunam vapi chhedayen na kadachana. Which means everything in this creation has a meaning and purpose. So if you need a blade of grass for some useful purpose, you are free to pluck it, but otherwise don't. I see adults, children of course you can forgive them, adults, grown-ups, while walking in a garden or a park, their arms they cannot control and they pluck leaves just like that. And this is a crime. It's a spiritual crime. The law of the land will not punish you for plucking a leaf, but a spiritual crime will not go unpunished. So be careful, don't do that. So seriously, people are spoiling the environment everywhere. Not just the physical environment. I am talking about the spiritual environment. Polluting, with their very presence, with a negative, cynical attitude toward everything in life. They pollute other people's minds, vitiate the atmosphere. So spiritual pollution, physical pollution, economic pollution, psychological pollution, all kinds of pollutants are there. So what is the lesson we can learn from these gurus? How not to behave. How not to behave. These people's lives are a warning to the others, not to be like them. So even in that they are the gurus. They are trying to give us the lesson that don't be like us, because if you do, then you will suffer just like we are suffering, though they will pretend as if they are not suffering. That's the beauty. We must understand that environmental education is essential for sustainable development. Environmental education is absolutely essential for sustainable development, and every child should be taught about Dattatreya and his 24 gurus. And to help you to be able to deliver a good talk, I am doing this effort to give you some readings of how these gurus helped Dattatreya and how they can also help all of us so that we can make the world a better place. So remember, Dattatreya appears in the Uddhava Gita, which can be considered Krishna's final great teaching, Uddhava Gita. So Krishna gave 5 Gitas, remember, Bhagavad Gita, Anugita, Uttara Gita and Kama Gita. Kama Gita is only 22 verses which was delivered to Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja. So these 4, Bhagavad Gita, Anugita, Uttara Gita, Kama Gita, occur in the Mahabharata. And Uddhava Gita occurs in the Bhagavatam. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam. So in Uddhava Gita, Krishna mentions Dattatreya and his 24 gurus. See, Dattatreya worship is very prevalent in Maharashtra. It is a major Hindu denomination with millions of devotees. Dattatreya is represented with 3 faces, 6 hands and a single body. So his icons combine Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva as a single triune form, single triune form. And each pair of hands carries 2 of the symbols of the 3 deities. His central body is blue, representing Krishna himself, while his further 2 faces represent on the right Lord Brahma and on the left Lord Shiva. At his heels there are 4 hunting dogs, embodiments of the 4 Vedas, guardians of the absolute truth. So the 4 hunting dogs are the embodiments of the 4 Vedas and are the guardians of the absolute truth, which are at the feet of Sri Krishna, who is now in the form of Dattatreya. So remember, the essence of the Gita lies in Bhagavad Gita. The essence of the Vedas. So studying the Gita is sufficient. In Kali Yuga there is hardly any trial. Therefore Gita is sufficient. A garlanded cow standing behind Dattatreya represents the earth. Occasionally the images of the Dashawataras are carved on the margins of the icon of Dattatreya. So this is also there. And in folk mythology, it is believed that Dattatreya he travels the world in disguise. Na jaane kis roop mein Narayan mil jaye. Unrecognizable to any except his pure devotees, to whom he may grant enlightenment or material boons. So be ready. Are you ready to receive Krishna? Na jaane kis roop mein Narayan mil jaye. Sometimes Krishna will come in some roop to annoy you, irritate you, prod you to fight. So that's also that. So never lose your temper. Participate in the drama joyously, wholeheartedly. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dattatreya is listed as 6th among 24 Vishnu incarnations. Among the 24 Vishnu incarnations, Dattatreya is ranked 6th. So many Puranas include him among the 10 major avatars. Vayu Purana, Harivamsa, they include Dattatreya. And remember this Buddha, Gautam Buddha, Buddhists are there. Buddha was not a Buddhist, by the way. Buddha did not create any new religion. And Buddha's final words were, where everything composite will decay, work out your own salvation. Everything composite will decay and work out your own salvation, which means don't follow me. So Buddha was very clear. Buddha did not start any religion. And he said, work out your own salvation. So for each one of us, the path has to be different, because we are all unique. Though we are all called humans, we are all same but unique. So because we are unique, we need a unique path to follow. Broadly, the principles are already encapsulated in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a summary of the Vedas. So, see, Gautam Buddha, who was born 500 BC, who was a contemporary of your Jain Tirthankara, 24th Tirthankara, Mahavira. Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism, and he was a contemporary of Buddha. And Buddhism and Jainism are basically Gnostic. That means atheistic. They don't recognize a God. They don't accept that God exists. Buddhism says, Buddha said that there is no Jivatma, no Paramatma, but reincarnation is there. How? Nobody asked that question, so there is no answer for that. Which is a simple rational question. If nothing exists, what will reincarnate? So even Dalai Lama will not be in a position to answer this simple question. But many people have converted to Buddhism because they don't know what Buddhism is all about. So this Gautam Buddha is not the actual incarnation. In Mahabharata, Vyasa does not include your modern day Gautam Buddha, 500 BC Gautam Buddha as an incarnation. Okay. And Parashara Rishi in Vishnu Purana included Buddha. But that Buddha is not this Buddha. So this much you must be clear if you are a Hindu. If you want to be an authentic Hindu, a genuine, sincere, authentic Hindu, then you must be aware of these fundamental ideas. Buddhism and Jainism are two religions which have weakened Hinduism because of their overemphasis on ahimsa. And as a result, we Hindus have suffered. Hinduism never teaches you to wax eloquent on ahimsa when a crime is taking place in your presence, or even if not in your presence. So Manyu Suktam is there in the Vedas. Manyu Suktam in the Vedas, Manyu is the power of the mind. Manyu can also be translated as justified anger, indignation, resentment, righteous anger. So Manyu Suktam is actually a prayer to God to grant you the capacity to be angry when it is justified. Wrath, W-R-A-T-H, is a negative word. Wrath means uncontrolled anger. Unfortunately, Abrahamic religions consider only one type of anger, and they call it wrath, and they say that wrath is a vice. But if you look at their holy books and their way of thinking, it is entirely wrathful, totally wrathful, because infidels have to be either proselytized or killed or subjected to this inquisition and then killed. So this is nothing but pure wrath in action. The truth of the matter is, if you are angry when a crime is taking place, and if you are able to punish the criminal and save somebody innocent, that anger is very good. That's a sattvic anger, sattvic ahankar. Yeah? So that sattvic ahankar and sattvic anger is called Manyu. So that is Manyu Suktam. So anyway, this Gautam Buddha gave all kinds of irrational kind of theories. And he also said we should... So Gautam Buddha also said ahimsa is the first principle and we should live by begging, which I think is a very obnoxious idea. Kabir said, मांगन मरण समान है, मत कोई मांगो भीख, मांगने से मरना भला, ये सतगुरु की सीख. And Arjuna in the Mahabharata admonishes Yudhishthira, who wanted to become a sadhu and mendicant and live by begging on charity and all that. Daridram Mahapatakam. Daridram Mahapatakam. Na tacha situm arhasi. Daridram Patakam loke. Daridram Patakam loke. Mahapatakam. Daridram Patakam loke. Na tacha situm arhati. Do not praise poverty, because poverty is a Mahapatakam, untranslatable again. Sin is a silly Christian word, I told you. Sin is the act of disobedience of Adam and Eve in eating that fruit of the tree of knowledge, and as a result they were kicked out of paradise, and every human being is also a born sinner because he is infected by the original act of disobedience which is called sin. And how? Well, that is, Adam is also known and considered to be the universal man, so what he did affects everyone else. Like, it's so irrational. If the father commits a crime, the child cannot be punished. But the Bible says, yes, he can be punished. And at another place it says no. So the Bible contradicts itself, that's another problem. So that's another discussion some other day. So here, and Gautam Buddha in his life, there was an instant when one of his disciples received some meat as bhiksha. So he went and asked his Guruji, so what should I do with the meat? Because you told us we should live by begging. So somebody gave me tandoori chicken. So what do I do with this? Buddha, I don't know what you would have done if you had been Buddha. he would have probably said, throw it away. Because rule 1, primary, the first rule is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-killing. That means no torture, because meat cannot be procured without himsa. You cannot get meat. No, every animal loves life. Every animal has its own family, mummy, daddy, children. So every animal wants to live life, and you yourself could be born as an animal. That is the karma theory, which Buddhism accepts. But strangely, they don't accept. They believe that they can eat all meat, because Buddha gave this very twisted instruction. So he said, ahimsa, he should have simply said, if you had been Buddha, you would have said, the first rule holds, good. And that's why it is the primary injunction. The second rule is live by charity. So if there is a conflict between the second rule and the first should maintain its superiority. But Gautam Buddha said, it's all right, since the animal was not slaughtered for your sake, you can eat it. So this is an interesting, explanation he gave. Interesting kind of rider. And Buddhists have pounced on this very nicely. Today Buddhists are eating beef. They are eating every animal. And their only justification is because it was not slaughtered for them, they are justified in eating it. So this kind of, I think, if Buddha is truly an incarnation of Sri Krishna, he would never give such irrational, rules to live by. Maybe Buddhists may not like what I am saying, but since I am not abusing anybody, I am entitled to expressing my opinion on this. So people who espouse Buddhism must give it some serious thought. And Buddhism, I told you already, Buddha was not a Buddhist. Christ was not a Christian. They did not start any religion. All this was started in his name to fool people and loot them. And this nonsense is going on. So I leave it there. Now Dattatreya, some people are usurping Dattatreya and saying that his incarnation is this Chandmiya, which is even more ridiculous. This Chandmiya is another, oh my God, I don't want to talk about him now to pollute this talk. So let us leave him there. So these fraud and fake Babas are everywhere. Be careful. Dattatreya is Sri Krishna himself. Of course, many tantric sects are there, which tantric Nath sect. They identify Dattatreya with Shiva. Aghoris and many other people are also, they are appropriating Dattatreya, but it's all right as long as they are Hindus. But not these Chandmiya cults. If you take a deeper look into the Upanishads and Puranas, they clearly identify Dattatreya with Sri Krishna and Vishnu. So, Dattatreya teaches that beneath the apparent multiplicities of the material world, there is a single underlying unity, which is an idea which Krishna also elaborates in the Bhagavad Gita. This can be called universal consciousness or Brahman or Krishna. So Dattatreya, just like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, is trying to help us get out of this mire of delusion, moha kalilam, which is a word that Krishna used in Bhagavad Gita. Remember, Bhagavad Gita is sufficient. Don't waste your time reading all the other Gitas. There are so many Gitas. At least, Gita Press have published one book called Gita Sangraha, in which they have listed some 24 Gitas. So, nothing is superior to Bhagavad Gita. Remember this much. So, the 24 Gurus, quickly, the list is Earth, Wind, Sky. Please make a note. I will give you a chain link so that we can remember this. Earth, Wind, Sky, Water, Fire, Moon, Sun, Pigeon, Python, Ocean, a honeybee, beekeeper, elephant, deer, fish, a prostitute who is reformed, actually, a reformed prostitute, Pingala, that's her name. Then what else? A squirrel. No squirrel. Squirrel occurs in Ramayana. Okay, a small child and a hawk, and then a young girl, a nubile girl of marriageable age, and a snake and an archer, a spider, and so a caterpillar and a spider. Okay, just imagine the earth. Close your eyes. Imagine from the earth a lot of wind is rising from the earth, and this wind is going into the sky, and once it goes into the sky, it is coming down in the form of water, and the water is falling, and after touching the earth, the water is becoming like fire. All this is weird, that is why you will remember it. And from this fire is arising the moon. The moon is coming out of the fire, and out of the moon the sun is coming out. Can you see the picture? And from the sun some pigeons are flying out, and in the mouth of each pigeon there is a python, and in the mouth of each python you can see the ocean. So the ocean is the 10th. Next, in the mouth of the python we saw the ocean. From the ocean, imagine so many bees are, in fact the ocean is full of not water but bees, honey bees. And the beekeeper or the honey gatherer wants to catch these bees because he wants to harvest the honey. So that is the 12th one, beekeeper. And the beekeeper is actually riding a hawk, eagle. The beekeeper is riding a hawk because it's very difficult to catch the bees, no? So, and the hawk, in the mouth of the hawk you see a moth, M-O-T-H. See, a moth is a butterfly without any sex appeal. See, butterflies are very colorful. They have great charisma. Moths are, the cousins of butterflies, but unfortunately moths are brownish and they don't have any great appeal or sex appeal, if you may. So in the mouth of the hawk there is a moth, and in the mouth of the moth there is an elephant, and in the trunk of the elephant you should see a deer. That is the 16th one. And in the mouth of the deer there is a fish. And Pingala is a prostitute. She has become reformed because she has got disgusted with her life, and so this reformed prostitute Pingala is trying to pull the fish out of the mouth of the deer. And then there is a child that is tugging at the sari of Pingala, the child. And that child is the younger brother of a girl who is of marriageable age. So that girl is running after this child. And there is a snake that is trying to bite this nubile girl. And there is an arrow smith who is sharpening his arrows because he wants to kill that snake, because that snake might bite this maiden, this damsel, unmarried girl who is trying to save her younger brother. And on the head of the arrow smith there is a spider and a caterpillar. Both are sitting right on his head. Now let me see, I will try to refresh you. First one, the earth, the mnemonic. From the earth, can you see wind rising from the earth? And the wind is going into the sky. And in the sky, the wind is getting transformed into water. And the water is coming down. Water is coming down, and when it is touching the earth, it is becoming fire. And from the fire is rising moon, the moon, the moon, the moon. From the moon is coming out the sun, and from the sun are coming out pigeons. And in the mouth of each pigeon there is a python, and in the mouth of the python we are seeing the ocean. And in the ocean is not water, full of water, it is full of bees. And the bees, the beekeeper is trying to catch the bees, the honey gatherer. And the honey gatherer is sitting on a hawk, eagle. And in the mouth of the eagle there is a moth. And in the mouth of the moth there is an elephant. And in the trunk of the elephant there is a deer. And in the mouth of the deer there is a fish. And Pingala is trying to catch that or pull that fish out of the mouth of the deer. And Pingala is a reformed prostitute whose sari is being held on to by a child, a young boy, child. And the child, behind the child is a nubile girl, a girl of marriageable age, who is a maiden, a damsel, unmarried girl. She is trying to pull back her younger brother. And right behind the maiden is a snake which wants to bite the maiden. But the arrowsmith is sharpening his arrow because he wants to shoot and kill that snake. And on the arrowsmith's head, there is a spider and a caterpillar. Both are sitting and trying to converse with each other. So I gave you a mnemonic. Please make a note and try to recollect it 2-3 times so that it's fully imprinted. And now let us see Dattatreya's 24 Gurus. The earth is steadfast in its duties and steady in its cycles. The earth teaches forbearance, to remain undisturbed, even when subjected to the worst kind of tension, pain, losses, all that. So, and the earth also accepts the injuries done by humans and continues to provide crops to the best of its ability. So be like the earth. Don't bother people harm you, give them back something good. The earth is like a sober person. And the earth understands that her aggressors are acting helplessly under the control of their gunas, and therefore never be distracted from your spiritual progress because of the mean and vile and dastardly actions of others. So be like the earth, and the earth is therefore teaching us dharma, the value of total dedication, steadfast perseverance on the path of dharma, on duty, and being calm, equipoised, and forgiving everyone. So these are all the lessons that the earth is teaching us. What is the earth teaching us in short? Ignore the injuries, give back good, be calm, don't get distracted, be calm. Rama's guna is also Kshamaya Prithvi Sama, forbearance, fortitude, patience, tolerance, universal acceptance, not hitting back, no retaliation. Then wind. The wind passes through the world like truth, unchanged and unattached. So you also pass. You be in society. Don't be affected by anybody. Live for the truth, talk the truth, and people are not interested, just walk away. Walk away, like the wind does not hang on, you see. It has the capacity, wind has the capacity to disturb as it swirls about the objects of the material world. So wind blows about in many directions. It can cause the atmosphere to become agitated. So if your mind is constantly attracted and repelled by material objects, it will be impossible to think of Krishna. Therefore, don't be like the wind and be like the wind. So there are two ways of looking at it. When should you not be like the wind? Don't be capricious, whimsical. Hang on to Krishna. That is why Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, if you want water, you should dig at one place. People are digging a little here, a little there, a little somewhere else, and all they get is mud. So hang on to one Ishta Devata. Best is Krishna. So be like the wind. And sometimes when the opportunity presents itself, ask controversial questions, make people think. But many people don't have the capacity to listen to the truth. That's why Manu says, Manu is none other than Krishna. Manu is the mind born of Brahma. And Brahma is again born from Krishna's navel. Okay? So Manu is the grandson of Krishna. So Krishna speaks through so many characters. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat, satyam apriyam. Priyancha na anrutam bruyat, yesha dharma sanatana. So speak the truth. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Speak what is pleasant to hear. Priyancha na satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Na bruyat satyam apriyam. Do not speak the unpleasant truth. Why? Because people can't take it. They can't handle the truth. Not all. Only very rarely people can handle the truth. So be careful. Don't tell them the unpleasant truth. But then that will be not correct, na? Morally. You should tell people the truth, isn't it? Therefore, the next suggestion is Priyancha na anrutam bruyat. because it's pleasant to listen to. Don't tell them any lies. So do a tightrope walk. Just give a suggestion of the truth. Don't let them know the full blast of the truth, because that might disturb them. And why should you incur the papam? If somebody gets totally lost and rudderless because of the truth which you have uttered, then you will have to partake of the repercussions of that sin, that papam, sin is a lousy word. So like the wind, you can stir up, be the devil's advocate, but be careful, depending on the audience only. Next is the sky. The sky teaches that the self has no boundaries and it is beyond the reach of material nature. Sometimes, clouds cover the sky, but the sky above is unaffected. When the mind is spotlessly clear like the cloudless blue sky, one can see the actual form of Krishna. So calm the mind. Agitated water, you cannot see the bottom. The reflection. The mind is the mirror which can reflect Krishna if the mind is calm, not disturbed. So know all objects of material perception to be empty, like space. This is all. All that looks hard and real is actually unreal, because everything will pass away. Everything is temporary. Know Krishna as Sachidananda and totally unbound and free. The Amrita, nectar of knowledge, undifferentiated, like the sky, is the sky. And our fragmentary egos, trapped in materiality, are waiting to unite again with Krishna. So the boundless sky is an eternal reminder of this essential unity. The boundless sky. Be like the boundless sky. There are so many things inside, but nothing touches the sky. Krishna is the sky. We are similar. So that's what the sky teaches us. Okay, holds everything but remains calm. Totally detached. Next, water. Water serves all without pride and purifies those who bathe in it. Be like that. Preserve and give life. Which is why the Vedas speak of water as so very important. Narayana Vishnu, who lives in the waters. Water is so important in the Vedas. Pure water is transparent. A saintly person is also transparent. He manifests Krishna. Just as pure water is transparent, a pure saint, sadhu, reflects, manifests Krishna. You can see Krishna, you can see Rama. Pure and holy people are like the sacred Ganga, which purifies by its very sight, contact and praise. So the lesson is that purification comes from association with purity. Associate with purity, be like water, purify. Fire. Fire also purifies. Whatever it consumes, it purifies. Fire is fearless, fire is detached. Bhagwa Rang in the national flag has 3 symbolical meanings. It is fearless, it purifies, and it is detached. It is not sullied by contact with anything. I am the fire that burns the papams of the papi, sins of the sinless. I hate this word sin. It's a really stupid Christian concept. The knowledge of a teacher, knowledge of Guru, Bhagavad Gita. The knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita is like fire which will destroy all your superstitions. All your ignorance will be destroyed by the Gita. The Gita is fire. Be like the fire. Rabindranath Tagore urges educators and learners to see themselves as Vishwakarmas. Rabindranath Tagore uses the word Vishwakarma. World makers. Vishwakarma means a world maker. Every teacher must be a Vishwakarma, world maker. So, teach the children, teach everyone environmental education for sustainable development. And encourage them to have the courage to question superstitions, to question everything, because unless you question everything, you cannot arrive at the whole truth. If you blindly accept some nonsense as holy, and these holy books, so-called holy books of those desert cults are full of filth, lechery, butchery, treachery and absurdity. That is why they commit all crimes, thinking that those crimes are actually acts of holiness. So please don't get carried away by this rubbish called Sarva Dharma Samabhava. There is no such thing as Sarva Dharma Samabhava. All matas are there, all cults, they are different paths. No, not to God. In fact, other than Sanatana Dharma, all of them are paths to hell. But for the sake of political gains, politicians have spread this stupid idea that all religions are equal and good and different paths to God. Not at all. That is not the truth. So, we cannot tell this openly to them because they will get offended. Therefore, just do namaste and go on, because this is Krishna Leela. Krishna is giving them the freedom to behave like idiots. So let them enjoy the freedom that Krishna is giving. They are abusing the freedom actually. So they will pay someday. So don't waste your time. They are not going to listen to you anyway. So Dattatreya is saying that a teacher should be like the fire, purifying, uplifting, detached, fearless, and learn to purify your student. Purify. Wherever you go, purify. Your existence should be therapeutic, curative. Whatever you touch should be purified. My name is Shankara. Sham means auspiciousness. So I have a duty. Whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever I touch, I induce auspiciousness. All Hindu names have a great philosophical meaning, unlike the names in other religions which are ridiculous. So, one should not even consider the quality of the teacher but only the essence of that which is taught. Does not a boat, though devoid of paint or beauty, still ferry passengers? So, like that. Kabir, remember said, जाति न पूछो साधु की, पूछ लीजिए ज्ञान. जाति न पूछो साधु की, पूछ लीजिए ज्ञान. मोल करो तलवार की, मोल करो तलवार की, पड़ा रहने दो मियान. Next is the moon. The moon waxes and wanes but remains unchanged. There is only one moon, no matter how many names you give it. The world tends to hide single truths beneath a welter of different names. But when intelligence is thus divided, it ceases to be all comprehending. Once you study Gita, you will understand that Krishna is the substratum. And metempsychosis, transmigration, punarjanma is all there. We are lucky to be born as humans. But if we don't utilize this janma properly, then like the moon, you will have to continuously take different births. So, Jivatma is the continuous eternal Sachidananda reality. Our material bodies will appear because of our stupidity and not knowing that human birth is a rare boon. That is why the Veda, Kathopanishad says, Uttishta, Jagrata, Prapya, Varannibodhata, Kshurasannadhara, Nishita, Duratyaya, Durgamapata, Tat Kavayo Vadanti. Uttishta, Prapya, Varannibodhata, Kshurasyadhara, Nishita, Duratyaya. So please wake up. Human birth is a rare boon. So don't be like the moon. So moon means lunar and lunar means lunatic. Loony. There are many Hindu loonies who are worshipping tombs and dargahs, offering chaddars and babas, chandniyas and all that. Are Krishna do not ra. Hang on to Krishna or Rama or Krishna's bona fide avataras. They are all there, but you want to give them up and run after something else. Then you are a loony because you are influenced by the moon. You are becoming loony, lunatic. Next, the sun. The sun is reflected in a million puddles. Each reflection seems different, but it is the same sun. Similarly, Jivatma seems to be contained with a different body, but in reality it is the same in all. So you can see Krishna in all. And the Jivatma of everyone is actually pure. Because of their stupid karmas, they acquire a lot of different bodies and they are suffering. All are suffering. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam. Napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramangata. Next, kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastada anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvama. So remember, the Jivatma is constant, a fragment of Paramatma that answers to many names and is deluded into thinking that it is different. In fact, Prakriti and Atma have the same essence. which all are under the control of Sri Krishna. The sun teaches many lessons. I am just listing out a few. You can use your imagination. Sun distributes heat and light to everyone equally. No partiality here. In fact, everything is possible because of the sun. He is the Pratyaksha Daivam. The sun does not do anything for personal gain or selfish desire. Okay. So, the teacher should act from a sense of duty, not greed. Next, pigeons. So, pigeons are a warning. Pigeons, are constantly making love, developing obsessive love or attachment. In the transient material world, don't be like a pigeon. A devoted pair of lovebirds raised a brood of young who became entrapped in a net by a hunter. Unable to live without their children, the parent pigeons joined the young in the hunter's trap. Similarly, those who focus on transient things may be destroyed by their losses. So that is why in the Bhagavatam, Rishabhadeva says, Rishabhadeva is a part manifestation of Krishna. Gurur na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, devo na tasyat, patir na sasyat, namo chayet, samupetam mrutyam. So don't be obsessively attached. You have a responsibility. Every Hindu has a responsibility. Krunvanto Vishwamaryam. Uplift everyone. Help them to get out of this transmigration. Namochayet samupetam mrutyam. So don't get obsessively attached and don't increase your suffering and their suffering also. So don't become like the pigeon. So Dattatreya reinforces this difficult teaching by taking his own body as the 25th teacher. Dattatreya says that my body is the 25th teacher, not just 24th. Dattatreya Krishna is saying that on this body, Dehavasana, Shastravasana, Dehavasana, Lokavasana, Rama mentions. So we are consuming, we are investing so much time, energy. This is a temporary possession. We are trying to beautify it, do a lot of exercise, put a lot of food into it and satisfying, and it is like a donkey. The body wants to rest all the time. So this donkey body is demanding so much and we are fulfilling every whim and fancy of this body, which is temporary, which is going to be consumed by other creatures after its death. So don't pay too much attention. Don't pander to the body. After many reincarnations, achieving a human body is a very rare privilege. For this alone, this rare privilege you must use to understand Krishna, meet Krishna. The whole objective of life is to meet Krishna and shake hands with Krishna and sit along with Krishna on the top of the tree. So, human life is the door to Krishna Tattva, God realization. Don't waste it on other things. So, don't neglect your spiritual development. Acquire spiritual wealth, accumulate spiritual wealth. Actually, all Hindus are by nature spiritual gluttons. I am a spiritual glutton. 24 hours I would like to listen to spirituality. Slokas, mantras and discussion on Rama, Krishna. I never get bored. I'll change the topic so that boredom does not set in, but I want only spirituality. Every Hindu is a spiritual glutton. Glutton means, who is a glutton? Glutton. Glutton means overeating, one who eats a lot. So we are all spiritual gluttons. This is a land of spiritual gluttons. Next, Python. Python eats whatever comes its way and is satisfied. Its teaching is not to run in pursuit of worldly things, but to limit desires and learn to accept what life brings. So be like the python. But that doesn't mean that you have no sense of initiative and resourcefulness and enterprising nature. Be of an enterprising nature. But personally be contented with whatever comes. Don't be frustrated, but ceaselessly keep working. If by Krishna's arrangement one is forced to suffer material hardship, then don't think that, in fact you might think that due to my past dushkarmas, I am now being punished and Krishna is actually providing some kind of a relief. మొట్టికాయతో వదిలేస్తున్నాడు అనమాట. So instead of giving you a big punishment, he is giving you a small punishment and relieving you of that burden of that papam that you have committed. So Krishna is merciful. Some punishments you have to take because of the prarabdha. So many things that we have committed. So janmantara sahasreshu. Next. So Python note lo manamu, in the mouth of the python we saw the ocean. So the ocean is limitless, timeless, lucid at the surface, deep, and nothing disturbs its lower waters. So on the surface you might act as if you are angry sometimes because it's necessary to show that you are angry. But deep down be calm, be always in the eye of the storm. Yeah, the ocean receives 1,000,000 rivers but remains unchanged. Equally the wise, if you are wise, if you are a Krishna Bhakta, you should be calm, be absorbed in Krishna consciousness, the ocean of Krishna consciousness, and remain undisturbed by the river-like inputs of the senses. So develop a mental white blanket to cover the noise from the bodily senses, and then strive to unite with Krishna. So this is the lesson that the ocean is teaching us. Interesting, isn't it? Then 11. From the ocean, instead of the ocean containing water, it is full of bumblebees or bees. So the ocean is full of bees. The bee actively seeks material benefits in the world. So also dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Artha, kama you have to seek. Because without money, artha means money. So that sloka is there, na? Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadyati patratvam, patratvat dhanam apnoti, dhana dharma tata sukham. Without money you cannot protect dharma. Without money you will be weak also. Nayamatma balahinayena labhyo nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. The weak cannot gain moksha. And the stupid people who follow some silly procedures, silly rituals, under the mistaken notion that that is good, also fail to achieve realization. Nayamatma balahinena labhyo nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. So don't say that because millions are following, I am following this religion. You are an idiot if you do that. If they are all going to the Dargah and Chandmiya, let them go. They will not listen. See, Krishna is very clear. He is saying, see, I have given you a brain. Use the bloody brain. And if you think you can fool Krishna by saying, sir, I am doing all this because so many people are doing it. Well, many people are eating bloody rubbish, so you cannot go and eat rubbish and justify your action, isn't it? So don't think like that. So, see, the bee, dharmartha, kama, moksha, all these are important. That's why Krishna says, balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. That is, dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi. So you are entitled to enjoy. In fact, if you don't enjoy, you will be punished. You will be punished for every legitimate pleasure that you fail to enjoy. No commentator will tell you something like this. I told you, only I tell you, because I have understood. Krishna told me very directly. That's why he says, Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhasva. Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samruddham. Mayaivete nihata purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavyasachin. I think 1133. Bhungshva means enjoy. So Krishna has said at least in two places very clearly, Bhungshva, enjoy. What? Rajyam samruddham, a prosperous kingdom. Which means what? Kings are gone, but we can all be kings. I am a king in GRE verbal. Well, I am a GRE Bhagavad Gita Upasak and Pracharak. But I am not yet a king. Krishna will coronate me someday. So we are a king. You are a king in whichever profession, if that is your calling. You know what's a calling, right? A calling is a profession for which you have great passion and aptitude. So you can work 24 hours without feeling tired, if that is your calling. So GRE English is my calling, and rebooting Hinduism is my calling. So 24 hours I am reading, studying, summarizing, recording, posting it on YouTube, and I also know not many people will watch it because Well, they don't have the taste. But how many Arjunas and Krishnas are there in the world? Hardly any. So you be the Arjuna, okay? So the bee does it with discretion, by the way. The bee will go to any flower, however distant, but it will just take the honey. It will not go and sit on the dung heap like a housefly. The housefly, 1 second it will sit on the prasadam, the next second it will be sitting on a dung heap or chatakundi. But the bee doesn't do that. Be like the bee. Be like the bee. Go only to a flower. Meet wise people, intelligent people, santly, sant, not the saint. Saint is again a stupid. Saints in Christianity are people who have killed people in the name of Christianity. That Saint Francis Xavier is a criminal of Indian history. He is a frantic Xavier. Mass murder of many Hindus who were killed or proselytized. So the Christian concept of a saint is very, very demeaning to the very word saint. So don't use the word saint. Sant. Hindus are sant, sadhu. Okay. So the bee collects honey from all flowers, high and low, large and small. Like a true devotees, true scholars should seek wisdom from a range of scriptural authorities. Learn from everyone. So like the bee, if there is honey, even if a child is able to, baladapi subhashitam, even if a child is able to say something nice, we can learn from that. So that is how the bee is teaching us. So next. So the bee helps in pollination, which means helps others achieve what they wanted to achieve, and all that. But unlike the bee, if you are truly wise, you should not store up material treasures. So what the bee teaches you and what the bee serves as a warning of, don't do these things that the bee does, continuously storing up everything without using it. There is a sloka. Shatam vihaya bhoktavyam. Shatam vihaya bhoktavyam. Give up 100 things but take your meals. Shatam vihaya bhoktavyam. Sahasram snanamacharit. Give up. In the sense, not give up. Neglect or ignore. Don't bother about them now. Ignore 1,000 things but take a bath promptly. Sahasram snanamacharit. Laksham vihaya datavyam. 1,00,000 things ignore, but do dhanam, charity. Whatever you can give, knowledge, the jnana bhatna, don't do that. Especially to the undeserving. And what you are distributing may not be jnana at all. Jnana also, that's another problem. So political correctness is not jnana. Political incorrectness is jnana. But that you should be able to give very carefully, otherwise they will attack your neck. Sartan se juda. So be careful. Don't be foolish. So, shatam vihaya bhoktavyam, sahasram snanamacharit, laksham vihaya datavyam, kotim tyaktva harim bhajet. Always chant Krishna Nama 24 hours. Even if you ignore 1 crore tasks, 1 crore things, ignore but keep chanting Krishna Nama. Next, the beekeeper profits by the honeybees who work for them, work for the beekeeper. So similarly, be a good leader. Know how to harvest and harness the skills of these bees so that you can help the bees also someday realize that obsessively accumulating is not good for them. So wealth hoarded only waits to fill the thief's pockets, or it will get destroyed. So don't do that. Put it to good use. That is a lesson we Hindus have failed to learn. Hoarding all the wealth in the temples is of no use. The wealth has to be put to use so that every Hindu is like a Shivaji. Make every Hindu a Shivaji. God doesn't need all this wealth and diamonds and all. Yeah, some amount we can decorate him. The rest should be invested in making every person, every Hindu should be like an Arjuna, like a Shivaji, like a Prithviraj Chauhan, like a Rana Pratap, like a Netaji, Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, Veer Savarkar. Every Hindu should be like that. They should have all the qualities of all the names that I just mentioned. Next, 13 is the hawk. The hawk, the eagle, when it picks up some food, it is attacked by other bigger birds. When it gives up that food, it is left in peace. The message is that worldly possessions are a source of trouble. Happiness and enlightenment belong to one who simply lives a simple life, seeking only spiritual goals. So otherwise, the others in the society will harass you. They will be after you. So, better put your money in some bank. Don't have too much property also. Own only Krishna and be owned by Krishna. So number 14, the moth. I see the moth has this tendency to flirt with fire. Patanga. Patanga jal jal jal. Patanga jal 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 mar jaye ye deepak lehraye jhum jhum lehraye. Patanga. So don't flirt with fire. So Patanga represents a man, the moth, which rushes into fire and gets killed, committing suicide actually. So if your senses are out of control, you become a Patanga. And the out of control senses will destroy you. They are like the fire. So please don't. This is the lesson you learn from the moth. What not to do. Next, 15th is the elephant. The elephant is lured into a pit by the scent of its mate, the male elephant. They create a pitfall. And this lack of control over the sex drive makes the elephant a slave. It gets fettered, enslaved and tormented by the Mahout's goad. So, Kamayesha Krodhayesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashanam Mahapapma Vithyena Miha Vairinam. Krishna also says, Trividham Narakasyedam Dwaram Nashanam Atmana Kama Krodhastada Lobha Tasmat Etat Trayam Tyajet. 3 gates of hell. Kama Krodha Lobha. Okay, so be careful. Don't become like this elephant. And so be careful. Have a control over your sex drive. Sex within marriage is perfectly justified and alright. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. 7:11 I think. Please read that sloka if you want. And the elephant has many positive virtues also. Fearless, calm. Even a lion does not, try to fool around with an elephant. Only a lion knows the strength of an elephant, not a mosquito. So be like that. So good things from the elephant. Next, deer. The deer has another weakness. It likes music. So vulgar music and entertainment should be avoided. Sacred music, bhajan and dance is beneficial. So the deer is driven by fear and obsession for pleasant music. Finally it gets trapped. So be careful. Be careful. Don't become like the deer. Then the fish. The fish has a weakness for food. It is lured by greed, the bait of food. If the desire for food is controlled, then all other senses are controlled automatically. Right? So don't be like the fish. See, all these animals have one weakness, because one sense for which they fall slaves. The human is a slave to all the senses. So our risk is greater. Pingala, number 18. The reformed prostitute. After being a prostitute for years, she has learnt. She has got disgusted with her life. All these transient pleasures. And the body rots. So she gave up all these things. Renounced all worldly things and devoted her life to the Lord, Sri Krishna. So, all these things of the world and the people in it are actually a menace, they are a source of misery. So, like Pingala, She is a prostitute. She is a physical prostitute. But people are prostituting their time. They are prostituting their body, self-respect, principles, all in the name of a career or making some money-making activities. So don't prostitute your time. How do you prostitute your time? That means you are wasting your time running after wealth all the time. Yes, wealth is necessary, but to what extent? So prostituting your time, your body, your self-respect. You see, there are so many Hindus like idiots. They are supporting political parties which are openly, blatantly anti-national. And so these fellows have prostituted their self-respect for a few rupees and position and power and all that. So please don't prostitute your time, your body, your self-respect, your values, your principles, your dharma simply for the sake of your career or just to make money, because you will pay very bitterly. So don't run your life like a rat racing after money, promotion and fake kind of recognition in society. And also remember, you see, people struggle very hard to achieve a position of general manager or chairman, director. You see, all these people die, and most of the dead are soon forgotten. Even if you reach the position of the post of a vice president, chairman, so what? And they die because of this overwork also. Karoshi, there is a Japanese word, Karoshi, Karoshi. Karoshi in Japanese is death due to overwork. All the graveyards or cemeteries are full of indispensable people. The dead are soon forgotten even if you are very great. So why are you wasting your time? Do some useful activity, uplift if you can, and keep working, that's all. Let Krishna is running the whole show. That Pippa's song, Robert Frost, I am reminded of that poem. The year is at the spring, the days at the morn, the mornings at 7, the hillside is dew pearled, the lark is on its wing, the snail is on its thorn, God is in his heaven, all is right with the world. Memorize this. Robert Frost, a great American poet. What he's saying is, Rama is running the show, yaar. Krishna is running his show. Don't worry and complain too much. When they are running the show, it is like, you are on a train, keep your luggage down, don't carry it on your head, the train will carry the luggage. So just do what you can do in 24 hours, be happy. What have you learnt? What good have you done today? Have a good night's sleep, get up, keep working, 24 hours is your budget. And don't overthink, over worry, because you will be forgotten. The moment you die, you will be dead and gone and forgotten. So next, after Pingala was 18, I think, we come to 19, the child. Every child is a yogi, lives in innocent bliss. So they are free from all these anxieties. They don't have any ambitions. So anyway, so be like a child. Alpa Santoshi. Okay, next, the maiden, unmarried, nubile girl. So I believe this is an interesting story, Hindu story. The girl has to grind grain for guests, and she has to make sure that they don't come to know of their poverty. So, and when she is working, her bangles will jangle. Therefore, to maintain silence, she removes all the bangles and keeps only one on each wrist, and works quietly to prepare the food, grind the corn, grind the rice and whatever. So company is a distraction. The message here is, at this nubile age, you have to work, and also unnecessary friendship. These days the friends are pulling you down. Henry Ford said, a friend is one who brings out the best in me. So company is a distraction. Give up the association of all these people who are not devoted to Krishna. Krishnam Kamalapatraksham na archayishyanti ye naraha jivan mrutastu tad jnyeya na sambhashaya kadachana. So avoid this tamasic company. So this is the lesson. Next, 21, snake. The snake lives all alone, avoids human company, and similarly we also vivikta sevi lagvashi yadavakaya manasa jnana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samapashitam, Bhagavad Gita. So that is again you can check up. Abide in the cave of your own heart. Next is arrowsmith. The arrowsmith focuses so completely on his work that he fails to notice the fanfare as a king is passing by. So be so totally engrossed in your work that nothing should bother you. Right now I am making this recording. Nothing bothers me except a little hunger right now. Lunchtime is fast approaching. Total concentration to the task on hand. Total commitment. That is being a karma yogi. Leave the rest to Krishna. I am sure somebody's life will be changed after listening to this recording of mine. Maybe one or maybe two, not more, but it's all right. I have done my work. Then spider, 23. The spider builds a beautiful web and it later consumes and destroys the same web. So also Krishna, as he breathes in, breathes out, infinite number of universes are born and they are all drawn back into Krishna. Krishna has no desires and he is beyond the reach of cause and effect. However, we people keep making webs of our own ideas and become entangled in them. So don't weave your own web and get entangled. Keep your mind open to Krishna. Let Krishna walk in. Abandon all worldly thoughts. Don't be obsessed. Next, 24, last one, caterpillar. So caterpillar, so the caterpillar gets into the chrysalis, 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 and meditates on Sri Krishna. And from a dirty, ugly body of the caterpillar emerges a beautiful butterfly. So once you study Bhagavad Gita and once you start focusing on Bhagavad Gita, you are like a cat, like the caterpillar which has entered the chrysalis of the Bhagavad Gita. Once you fully absorb and imbibe and start living, internalize the Gita, then you will emerge as a beautiful butterfly. And your speech will be so sweet, your presence will uplift the whole of society, if not the whole of mankind. So these are the lessons we have learned from the 24 gurus of Dattatreya. So 24 is just a number. Everyone you meet in life can be your guru because you are Dattatreya. Jai Shri Ram.